the part where it's always me and I have no idea what to do.
Like every time?
That's what I mean. I just want to see if we can do that again. Consistency.
We can always do that.
It's important.
Welcome everybody to Sony After Hours Support. My name is Derek. With me is that guy.
I'm Larry.
That's Larry.
There it is.
So, got some questions.
For real, right? Yeah.
So, thank you all for being here. We do appreciate it. Oh, we're now live. That's great. See some names in here that I haven't seen before, which is awesome to see already. So I want to welcome all of you, those of you who have been with us many times before. Thank you. Welcome back. But also some new names. Thank you so much for joining us. Those of you who are new, why are we here, Larry? What are we doing?
We are here to do a couple of things. First and foremost, we want to be a direct line of communication from the manufacturer, Sony in this instance, of course, directly to you, our fans and our consumers out there. We're trying to establish sort of a first of its kind part of world-class customer service where we're here not just to have fruitful discussions and friendly debates, but also to offer solutions to maybe some of the issues, challenges, and problems that you may be having with your Sony products.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely.
It's almost as if I rehearsed that.
You didn't, though, I don't think.
I don't rehearse.
No, that's true. That's true. It's better when you just kind of wing it. But that said, if you have any questions, let us know in the comments here. If there is something that's a little bit more of an in-depth back and forth, please send us an email as well, because sometimes, it's like, okay, well, that's a great question. Here's where we're at, but I need more information, and sometimes that stuff can get lost. But let us know what sort of things you got going on, and there's already some stuff that we have to talk about already. But first, let's give a shout out to a couple of people in here. David, I've not seen you here. David Rubeck, so welcome. Ronan's back. Pete Randazzo, welcome. FOMO back again in the chat, which is awesome to have him around as well. Mr. Clown Pockets. I wonder who that is. I love that name, though. Malcolm is back.
Did you see Malcolm's comment?
Good evening, everyone. Yeah.
No, the other one. It's classic. It's good to go.
Oh, late, right on time.
Right on time. Thanks, Malcolm. We appreciate that.
That is so true. Yeah, that is so true. And we'll get to the questions in a second here. But Matthias, sorry if I said that incorrect. Welcome. And let's see who else. STE is back. Will Tech, of course, with some challenging questions as per normal. I love it. Curiosity saying hello to FOMO. So FOMO. Curiosity says hello. GMV, Joey B, Glenn Coco. I haven't seen that name in a minute. Big Phil is back as well.
Big Phil, hey.
So that's awesome. So thank you all so much for being here. And let's get into a couple of questions to get it rocking.
Let's do it.
And rolling.
Let's do it.
So the first question that came in was from Matthias. Matthias, I am so sorry if I'm saying the names wrong. Sometimes you just don't know. Says, hello. Question about panel uniformity, vertical banding. Does the newer Gen 4 QD OLED panel have better uniformity overall, especially in dark gray scenes where it's very challenging for any OLED? Now, I have not seen anything specifically calling this out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
So let me just back up and say this. Well, let me just say this. I have read a couple.
You may. You can say it.
I have read a couple of things. I haven't heard it directly from our engineers and our people, so I'm hesitant to even say that. But some of the articles that I have been reading about with respect to the latest generation QD OLED panel is part of the improvements over the previous version. So there are publications out there and sources that say that yes, there it is there. But again, I have not had that conversation. You haven't had that conversation with our engineers. We can confirm though. We'll definitely look into that.
Yeah, we will look into that for sure as well. Before we get into the next one too, the next question. Just to throw this out, what am I looking at? That one? Nope.
Every show. I love it. Yes. Do that.
We will have a special guest making an appearance shortly-ish.
Yeah.
To kind of hang out briefly with us too. So that'll be pretty cool. So stick around to find out who that is. You can make your assumptions. We will confirm or deny nothing. Until that special time.
We are not able to confirm or deny any future or present guests until they appear.
Yes, that is true.
But don't miss out.
That is very true.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, you don't want to be. Yeah. Sometimes I worry about missing out on some of that information.
Oh, I see what you did there. Sorry.
All right. So, next question from Pete. I have a question. I have an older Sony television set, and it keeps asking me to reset the date and time. Is there an internal battery that needs to be replaced? I would not think so. If you could, especially being an older model, send us an email and let us know what model it is, and we can try to look into that. What you may want to try to do is to just do like a basic soft reset on the TV, which I assume, even though it is an older model, pressing and holding the power button until reset appears on the screen, letting it do its little reboot. Sometimes that can help. Also, I would ask too if it is connected to the internet as well, and maybe check your firmware updates just to make sure that it is up to date. But if you go through those things, it still has that issue, send us an email, let us know what model you have, and we'll try to find an answer for you if we can. And I'm going to add this too. Sometimes we get a lot of questions about things like, I had this issue, and sometimes you've had an issue maybe for months or even weeks, sometimes years. It is absolutely okay to contact Sony support for your region.
Good call. The
reason I recommend that is if you can log an issue, the sooner the better. I mean, if it is an actual issue, you're more likely to have manufacturing coverage on there and the warranty. But also, it helps log those challenges, and if something happens again, there's sort of like a track record of the issues. The more we know, the better we can try to alleviate the challenges and get ahead of them and offer fixes. So that's always good for us too, and we don't want anybody to have challenges with the product, but sometimes that's just how electronics, that's how they work.
Today's public service announcement has been brought to you by Derek from Sony.
Yep, that's me. All right, Will Tech, A95L firmware released. There's still audio dropouts in the center channel via eARC. Devices connected to receiver. This has been known by Sony for nearly 2 years and still not fixed. I want to say that you've brought this up before. I want to follow up. Can you please do me the favor, if you can, send us some specifics on that so that I can follow up with specifics to try to recreate?
And which AVR? Because this is when connected to a receiver, because
that is
we've had feedback in the past regarding some unique connectivity issues between TV and an AVR, and it was discovered that the handshake issue or the challenge was on AVR side, not TV side, if you will. So it'd be good to know that information so we can try to duplicate the issue. So good call.
Awesome. I love it.
What's up, Will? Sorry.
It's good to have you back too.
Yeah.
Keep them coming though. Absolutely. Let's see. STE.
Oh, come on, man. I feel like it's a shot at me.
I don't want to say it's a shot, but
yeah.
Yo, who's getting the Sony Xperia 1 Mark 7?
It won't be me. Not me.
Yeah, it's a little tougher to get it here.
And I mean, let's just be honest. There's been a lot of news recently about some of the changes that Sony Xperia that side of the business is making with respect to cell phone development and things of that nature. So we'll see.
Yeah.
You know, I hate that I haven't. But here's the win though, and STE knows this. I still have my Xperia 1 Mark 5. Still,
mine's over there,
and I have not felt any reason to upgrade it. As a matter of fact, the last software update that I got extended my battery life. Like, it runs in a more efficient manner, so I don't feel like I'm having to run to a quick charger during the day. I usually end my day after constantly using it still with about 30 or 40% battery life, which is pretty good. And I use all 1000 nits of the brightness on the screen.
Oh my good lord, dude.
Yeah, I don't run my phone in eco mode.
This is the opposite of like how much more like, hey, we're in the dark when we're Ubering back to the thing or driving to get something dinner after the late show, and he's like, oh, look at this, here's 1000 nits in your face.
You know who hates that more than you? I'm the reason why they have that disclaimer that pops up in movie theaters about turning off your phones, because
there you go,
I can light up the theater. There we go.
All right, awesome, I love it. Okay, I'm gonna try to catch up and see where we are at here.
Post comment.
Yeah, Joey B's getting the green of the Xperia 1 Mark 7. I know you mentioned that he was getting that before.
Yeah, hit me. Let me know, Joey.
That's awesome.
I want to know if it's worth me making that international purchase for it. I'd like to know that. I don't want to leave Xperia.
I love it. Glenn Coco. Hi, Larry and Derek. Hello. Android 12 rolled out for A80L and X85K in Europe last month. Will USA models get it too?
That's interesting.
It's hard for us to really say when and if that stuff is going to happen. We actually are going to try to get in touch because at our level, we don't always have all of the information, but that's kind of where that key to increase that communication. But there are a lot more questions around specifically like Android versions and stuff. So I know we've talked about, let's try to get in touch with somebody from the Google side to kind of get a little bit more information on that. So unfortunately, we don't have any of that information, but let's talk very briefly about something we talked about earlier.
Yes.
Is around the importance of having those updates.
Yes.
Or not necessarily the importance of the opposite of that, right? So there are a lot of really cool things that come with the Android advancements. Absolutely. One of the advantages that we have with the way that we create the TVs is a lot of those features tend to be around accessibility.
Yes.
But we typically already have those built into the TV already. So it's not as urgent for us to get that.
Right.
The other thing that's kind of cool is when it comes to overall picture performance and sound quality, the Android version does not improve or change your picture performance. Sometimes there can be some other little upgrades, maybe a little bit cleaner of a menu, or something like that. Navigation might be a little smoother. But generally speaking, you're not missing too much if you're behind on an Android TV build update.
Correct.
But it is always nice to feel like you have the latest and greatest.
Of course.
Nothing wrong with that. But I can promise you this. If you are like, man, I feel like I'm not getting the best picture quality because I have a different Android version, you don't have to worry about that because you are still getting the best picture for your TV based on the current firmware. And I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
Well, yeah, no, I think it's still important to acknowledge the fact that most of the advancements that go into the OS level of the Android platforms is more times than not centered around the standalone devices that support Google TV, not Google TV integrated into a television, right? So you think about some of those devices. I can't name any of those names, but some of those devices, because they are making up for accessibility, security patches, and things of that nature that a TV that has the OS built into it, the TV itself already has some of those applications built into it. So yeah, that's it. But we will always make sure that we have the correct and best Android operating system version that matches the performance of the TV, which includes the processor and the capabilities of the TV. That will always be our stance. So there you go.
Yeah, so hopefully that kind of gives you a little bit of confidence in it. But of course, I totally understand when you see this is the latest version. We always want that. So I know that there's a lot of discussion that we're not part of, but we'll still see if we can get some information on that for you.
Absolutely.
Great question.
Absolutely.
All right, so FOMO's in there just kind of chatting away with some people, which is great. He's guessing it might be Brad Pitt or Ralph Macchio. Probably
could be
someone even cooler than that.
I think so.
Would be my guess.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so Just Frazier and having the conversation back and forth around the Bravia 8 EOTF tracking in HDR Vision has been fixed via firmware update. So going back and forth and kind of catching up on where we're at. Too dark in the low end, too bright in the high end. Causing gradient issues.
It's interesting.
Any idea? That's a question from Will Tech. Let's see.
Wow, mine just jumped with a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I know. I want to try to catch up and acknowledge the most recent stuff, or I don't want to miss some of the stuff. Luca joined in too. Hey, Luca, welcome. And Orion, ooh, nice. Welcome as well. We'll get to your questions too in just a second. Smoking is back as well.
What's up?
Stravinsky, ooh, man. That's awesome. Mozart's Ghost here as well, too. Welcome back as well. Okay. Wow. All right.
Thanks, Smoking. I appreciate that, man. Hey, good luck to your daughter's kickball ceremony. Hope it's a great thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Dope.
Okay. Let's try to catch up on where that is. Okay. So regarding an EOTF update on the Bravia 8, I've not heard specifically that call up. So let us follow up on that one.
Yep.
Can we have a note taker? Would that be cool?
I got you.
Yeah. We got Craig back
Craig
there.
in the house. Craig's going to be... What's up, Craig?
You don't have a pen? What kind of person are you?
Pen, no paper. Peanut butter, no
Digital
jelly.
world. Man. All right, cool.
Ice, no tea.
All right, we'll get notes on that so we can follow up. So definitely check back with us too. Join us. Feel free to send us an email too if you want to get that directly sent to you, and we'll probably address it in a future
episode.
show when we have more information that we can send out.
Yep.
Will Tech, any idea when Bravia 8 Mark II will have more stock availability? Seems impossible to get one ordered. Always says coming soon or out of stock. So it's very fresh.
It is.
Very fresh to the market.
Yeah.
And as per normal with a lot of, especially our premium and flagship models, they tend to be a little bit trickier to get because we do have a lot of hardcore early adopters that are like, gimme, that are all over that sort of stuff. So you will start to see it as time goes on. I know we had some guests from retail spaces in the last couple of days.
Yes.
And a lot of them were talking about like, yeah, we've got a couple of these out already. So
Yep.
keep an eye on it. It will continue to improve as time goes on. So hopefully you get a chance to get one soon. And then I'm sure you'll have some questions for us. And that is A-okay. So we look forward to it. But definitely want to hear your feedback for sure. Let's see.
I don't know where you are in the questions.
I'm trying to just get to where
has
we
a
are.
question.
Fire away. What do you got?
All right. So Orion says, hi, I have the Sony Bravia 55X90J TV still on Android 10. I've been waiting several years for the update to Android 12. I've read a thread going in Sony. Many other people want the same thing. Here's what's interesting, what I'd like to know. Okay, so Orion, I don't know. I'll try to keep an eye on this if you can answer this question. When you go into Android 10, when you go into your home screen with Android 10, are you seeing the square app icons or are you seeing the circle? The reason why I'm asking that is because even though it may still be Android 10, there's different build levels. And some of the additional features that have been added to the Android platform has been the change. It's one of the indicators has been the change of the icon shape, right? And so typically if you were able to receive the circle icons, that means that you were able to receive things like the Google Home panel, some of those new integrations that are in there. So there are some features and advancements and improvements of the Google platform that don't require an entire Android
Build change.
OS change that can just be enhanced or built within that existing number. So that's kind of the key to find out. So again, just it's a weird geometric question, but are you squares or circles? Right? Like that's where are you at right now? We'll take it
Sounds weird, but yeah, it does make sense.
Yep.
Let's see. FOMO says you should rile up the chat now because Larry need to practice.
Facts.
Okay. Yeah, no, let's not make things too crazy for us.
Now let's do it.
All right, so that was that question there. Great question. Let's see. We see Luca there as well. We're starting to catch up here. So again, please let us know what sort of questions you have. We'll have our special guest might be around here somewhere.
Yeah. Orion answered the question. Circle icon, so you're good. We have circle icons. Yeah. So you don't have the original Android build that you got the TV with. So there have been updates that have happened that have given you some of the more advanced features. Hopefully you've seen Google Home panel on there. I'm not sure if you're in the US or not. I should probably ask that question because some of those features are going to be region based. So
that's true. There are some things. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, I have a J series as well, and I have all the new stuff.
On a J?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Did you get this question from Orion on the user interface and Google TV goes from 1080p to 4K?
No.
The jump from Android TV 12. Is that wrong? Okay. So I had heard about that as well. I want to say that was the build change on there. I'm sure you're going to look that up right now just to be sure. Sometimes there are some of those changes too, which are some of those nice quality of life improvements. I don't want to downplay the concern. Of course, I get it. We want that best. We want that clean look, especially on these awesome TVs that we have. I mean, honestly, I try to just get right. I'm too obsessed with trying to get into my content like right away. I always modify my input menu to kind of have just the specific ones that I use. So I'm really not often at the home screen unless I'm going to try to check out my watch list because I always forget what I need to watch.
Yeah, that is that. Yeah, correct. That is one of the big changes on Android 12. Okay. So it seems so the menu resolution may not have changed, but you still get the added functionality. So I get it. Yeah, if you want that, look, hey, I get it.
It'd be
I
nice
get
to you get all that.
Absolutely.
I just don't know what the behind the scenes stuff is for that, but
Yeah.
that'd be great. All right, cool. Wow, it got really quiet.
Well, any differences in the new X700 4K? It's so funny. We're going to talk Blu-ray players. Yes. The X700 4K player, other than the removal of streaming, specifically any parts differences that may lead better performance.
Did we get a lot of that
I
information
have
yet?
some notes. Let me.
Because I know that was, that
glancing
is
at it
something
right
that didn't get like a ton of fanfare around
Right.
it. Some people are kind of like, wait, really? Like you're still doing Blu-ray players? Yeah, actually.
I actually had it while I'm going to see if I can walk and chew gum at the same time. Good luck. Yeah, good luck. I had a conversation with somebody about that also. Like when we talked about the Blu-ray players, like, why do you guys, still have Blu-ray players? For me, it still is a part of our Cinemas Coming Home campaign. It's still, of course, we're very proud of what you can get on Sony Pictures Core, what you can get with PureStream, the performance you can get. But the reality is, if you, let's say, have a 65-inch, Bravia 9 or 75 Bravia 9 or whatever, and you want to maximize the picture performance of that, most cases a streaming platform is not going to get it there. Right. That Blu-ray disc will unlock just an experience on that magnificent TV that still warrants us to continue making those.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
There's always those purists.
Yes.
That see that stuff and can kind of almost tell when there's that digital compression or some of the issues from decompression on some of that video streaming stuff. But what you got? Your wheels are turning.
I don't have any hardware specs that really, I have overall specs, but I don't have anything that really shares any performance improvements based on a hardware. I'll dig deeper. I'll keep going. I'll dig deeper. And I'll just put it in the chat because I know we're going to kind of transition to another conversation. But wait, before we leave, because I know this has been heavy home theater, I've got to get this off my chest. I have to get this off my chest.
Okay, well,
Okay.
Do we need disclaimer?
No.
What do we need to prepare?
Yo, no, John, this will be a disclaimer-free episode
Wow.
So,
for me.
the intro.
What was that thing that JT told me not to make sure I talk about? I'm kidding. Okay, so here we go.
I don't know.
I'm kidding. Inside joke. So, okay. I have the WHM6s here, the WH1000XM6, and I know oftentimes a lot of our conversations are heavy around home theater, and rightfully so. But every week that goes by, I unlock a different sort of experience with the WHM6s that make me kind of scratch my head and say, this is so interesting. So hear me out. Okay, hear me out. I've watched a ton of reviewers talk about the WH1000XM6. And the great thing is, the consensus is, these are the best noise canceling headphones.
You can say that.
Okay, camera. The best noise canceling headphones. These. Okay. What's so cool about it is I'm listening to all these reviewers and I'm watching them compare them, and 90% of them are comparing sound quality. Guess how? Bluetooth connected.
Yep.
Bluetooth connected. It's so interesting. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to hop on the plane. I got a few hours. I am going to plug in my headphones and actually personally review them with the 3.5 millimeter cable. That's what I wanted to do. So I had them on, and I have a streaming service that when I'm listening to a track, it lets me know the format that I'm listening to it in. And I've chosen this streaming platform because it has FLAC files. Okay. However, when I'm on Bluetooth and I'm looking at it and I press it, what it says is compression, audio compression due to wireless connectivity. It gives me this kind of warning. So I had that on there. So I plugged it in and plugged the headphone in, and then all of a sudden, that's a new one for you, John. Okay, yeah, you clip that. It unlocked it, and if I'm trying to remember what it was, I think it was for you audiophiles in there. Correct me, 24-bit, 192 something per second, and all of a sudden, it was like the strings got clearer, I could hear the piano, like the pressure. I'm sure there's a technical term for it.
Like
I could
the
hear
dynamics,
I could hear the foot pedal. Like I was like, what? Saying all that to say this. There's a couple of things that we have not really leaned into heavy with the WHM6s that I'll spend some time talking about in a future episode, of course. But the similarities to these headphones to our professional monitoring headphones is something that cannot be understated. Specifically the MDR M1s, okay? And M1s? Yes. No?
Could be.
Yes. Sorry. I mean, there's ECM M1s, so that I just, in my brain, I'll get kind of...
Oh, yeah, that's different. That's different.
Yeah, but anyway, when I started looking at it, like it's more than just a 10-band EQ. It's more than all of those things. These are amazing. And it made me think, why are reviewers not reviewing these headphones like
It's
wired?
kind of the way,
I get it.
You know, it's just like streaming. You know, people are just used to streaming. Sometimes they don't have the bandwidth.
Yes.
You know, realizing that they are not quite getting
Facts.
the best that they can get.
Yeah, sure.
But you know what? At the end of the day, if they're happy with it, and I also can say that, you know, with a Sony TV, you're going to get the best that you can with the content that you have.
Yes.
But obviously, if you do max out or you do a Blu-ray, physical media, technically speaking, will be the purest form. And that's one of the things that FOMO kind of called out purists by Sony. Is this true? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I would hope so.
I would
anyway,
hope so too.
You know,
Yeah.
I know everybody has their own taste, and that's totally fine. Totally respect that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I have confidence in what we do. 100%.
100%. And STE, you want how strong these hinges are? Metal. I don't know if that gives you any kind of comfort.
Yeah, that should help your
Metal hinges.
concerns.
They are the headphones absolutely feel like the most premium headphones I've ever put on my head with respect to consumer level headphones. So okay, all right.
I think I want to bounce back to
Sure.
the purist,
Yeah.
because I think this is a good time to bring the guest.
Yeah, I think so too.
What do you think?
I think so. Let's do it.
We just got to find.
Yeah, John, can we go to it? Can we? Is this a good time for us to bring our guest in?
Yeah, let me know when to hit the B-roll.
Can we find?
Hit the beat, roll that beautiful
We
B-roll.
got to figure out where he is.
Yeah. Out? Did he get bored with me talking? We may have lost our special guest. I'm not sure where. Not sure.
What?
Why are you pointing behind us?
I think somewhere over there.
Oh, he is here.
Round of applause, everybody. Awesome. What's up,
Thank you
brother?
for joining us.
Thank you.
We heard you were in town.
Yes.
I was, and I still don't know why.
Well, you can figure that out tomorrow, because I know you got some cool stuff that you're going to take a look at with one of our
so.
experts. JT's going to be hanging out with JT. I think I might be there too, just to look pretty, I guess.
You know, the guys from above said better drop by, making sure everyone's doing their job, right?
It's good.
Yeah. See, the cool thing is, I was actually hoping that somebody would notice or at least make a comment. I mean, granted, you couldn't see him back there, but you could see the white on the back of your head kind of moving around every now and then.
It's that wide aperture, right? I'm all out of focus in the back.
Yep, that's what it is.
Guy.
Yeah, we could have tightened it up a little bit.
So I know many people already know who you are, but who are you for those that don't know?
Well, stop the FOMO.
Yes, sir.
So I do TV reviews, home entertainment, and Sony TVs, one of my favorites. And my goal is to help people choose the TV based on their use case, because oftentimes reviewers, and I'm at fault for this too, we get lost in the specs, but then sometimes the user are like, I only watch Columbo. Are the specs important to me? Right, very specific. Or Wonder Woman, or the news, right? I'm like, wait a minute, do they really need the best, or is the worst best for them? But then it's large, right? And so over the years, because I started off for myself, right? I was, what TV should I get? And when I went online, every review was glowing. because every TV is great.
Everyone's the best. Yep.
And then the weaknesses, I'm like, I don't know what that means. Like, upscaling isn't good, but what does that mean? Upscaling isn't good. Like, I can't see the person anymore. I mean, the characters are so fuzzy. And so it turns out when they say upscale isn't good, it's so minor sometimes, right? And it depends on the content. So for me, I'm trying to think, if I'm in the user's shoes when I'm watching FOMO's review, that's who I am, then what can I tell them to help them make that decision? And it's not for everyone. Some people really dive into the specs, and that's why there's a reviewer for everyone. So, and I like the way you guys approach it, because it's very specific to Sony TVs. So when I come in asking, what about Samsung? You guys completely ignore the question. Next.
Yep. That is true. That is very true. Yeah.
But you guys are specialists. That's the
Right. And that's sort of like, I know a bit about why you're here, and obviously you're going to be live tomorrow from our space on your channel. Stop the FOMO.
I've been moving the furniture around, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll make it look pretty for you, but ultimately, you have a strong voice, and I know, there's a lot of people here that know who you are, but ultimately, our goal is to help you understand what we do so that you can then determine and give that information to your viewers as accurately as possible.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I learned something in chat. Someone was saying, hey, the new Bravia app got an update where you can tell the resolution and everything.
Yes.
Wait, I didn't know this. Oh, this is amazing, right? I better try my Bravia app now, because I use the Bravia 8, II, and the Bravia 9, right? And the app, suddenly there's a reason for me to use it, because it's easier to look at my app and rather than click the settings or whatever. So, that's pretty cool.
Awesome.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, and speaking of the app, well, hold on. Before I get to that, I just want to let you know, I am a personal fan and have been watching your reviews forever. And my reason for doing so is the way you have your discussions with your subscribers and your audience, I think is a very fair and balanced way to have those conversations. You've already said it, right? You try to help people navigate to find the best TV for them. I appreciate that so much. I think sometimes we go off the deep end of just wanting to just bash, it turns me off personally. But one of the things I do secretly is I'll obviously tune in to your show or watch some of your content, because it helps me understand what the industry is talking about. Yeah. And that's just a credit to what you've built. And then also shout out to Brian too. It's
Brian's great.
Promo.
But it's so dope what you guys are doing. And I just want to thank you for all the work that you guys do. It's awesome.
And that's another thing is, if it wasn't for the audience and the engagement, it wouldn't be as interesting for me. Ever since we started engaging directly with live streams, this is so much more fun. And I was telling Brian, I'd rather live stream more often than doing direct reviews. And so I do a lot more live stream reviews, only because I get to hear, well, FOMO, I want to see this content. And so it's a challenge putting that content. I get shut down by YouTube. One time I let Super Mario Brothers run a little bit too long. Brian's like, it ran for 45 minutes. What were you expecting? Oh, that is true. The censor gods were not happy with that. But it does give viewers the sense that, okay, whatever you guys want, compared, whatever, because then they know, okay, there's no agenda here. Because my goal is to say, oh, wait, I'm surprised. As surprised as you. This looks terrible. What happened? And so the brand will be watching as well, because, and every brand has this issue, which is they don't know what they don't know. Right. Because they can't test everything. Yep. And they rely on reviewers like myself. And sometimes we discover it on a live stream, like, that's interesting. That did not look as what I expected. Like, whatever brand, you see this? And they would immediately text me after live stream, hey, send me that video again. How did you do that? We want to reproduce it. And then they work on it. And that's the whole point, is I want the viewers to see the brands aren't trying to hide anything. Right. But when we discover it live, they move a lot quicker as well.
You're not wrong on that one.
Yeah, I mean, every brand has reached out to me that way. You know what? If that's what it takes, let's do it, because then the audience see that engagement from the brands directly. So I feel like this bridge, and you guys are direct bridge, and so I send people your way. When I can't answer a question, thank God those guys are here. Throw them under the bus.
Oh, we appreciate that.
Yeah, and that is one of the challenges. It's we're sort of we have a similar concept to what you do. We just have a different sort of direction with it. Because you can go wherever I want to go, which is great. But that also is part of why, we want to make sure we increase communication with you and hopefully many others as well, of just understanding what is going on. What do people think, so we can provide that feedback.
Yep.
And help make sure that it goes to the engineers. They can work on the improvements and changes that need to be made for whatever happens in the future. So
agreed. And that's another thing is, by talking to the audience, I don't even know sometimes where the trends are going, because you hear the complaints about this. I go, oh, well, since I never do that with my TV, I didn't realize that's a thing. But then now everyone kind of sees, oh, they really don't want this, that, or the other. Like the Bravia 8, right? It's not even about the image quality. Like, some of the complaints are, how come the stand is so wide? Lifestyle, right? Quality, ownership, all of that. And because the image looks great, but they want, because their coffee table isn't that wide. And I'm like, I never thought about that. That is important.
It is a thing.
That's so, it's like, until you hear the owner's own stories, then it becomes part of your story. And then when you ask, because a lot of people are afraid, even on chat and it's anonymous, they don't want to be the dumb person asking, right? Because then they're afraid. But if you make it a safe tree, or the tree of trust, then people aren't, and that's the community I want to build.
I love that.
There is no stupid question, because most people don't know what's in there. Like some of the settings on the Sonys, I still haven't explored. That's actually why I'm here. I have questions.
Yes.
And so it's interesting. It brings me something, because when I met you in Los Angeles in 2024, we were Sony Pictures lot, and we were on a break. I don't want to call it rooftop. We were out there kind of lounging. It was
Very bougie.
Yeah, it was, oh man, But I remember you looking at me and you saying, do you know what I think you guys should talk more about? I don't know if you were in this conversation. I'm like, what's that? You said, XR clear image. You guys should have talked more about XR clear image, because that is amazing, right? And I was sitting there thinking, we can sometimes be so close to the products, and we can get kind of wrapped up into just a handful of things that we really are leaning into, which is why that's the value of you, because you just said it, how you like to dig into some of the other settings and you uncover and peel back things. And then that becomes something amazing that, at least for myself, I may have missed the importance of it, but hearing it from you, it's like, we got to do better, And so I do love the fact that you do take the time, whether it's a Sony or any TV, quite frankly, spending the time to dig into them, to really see what they're capable of, not just what's on the surface.
And so to that point, when you have a feature that affects all the scenes, like XR Clear, right, your image processing, you don't really know what it does until my wife made the comment to me. I think I told you before, she watches these old TV shows like Ozzy and Harriet. I know she's watching this. She goes, oh, don't age me. But she watches all the old shows, and that was in black and white. And her comment to me is like, on the Sony A95K, it looks natural, it looks cinematic. It's black and white. There's no, because you know how you have the Sony skin tones? The skin is gray. She goes, because we have other TVs. All over it. And she likes going on the Sony specifically because it looks better to her. And she doesn't know how to describe it. She's like, it looks like a film, right? And the other one, it looks like an old TV show, like I would expect from an old TV show. On the Sony, it looks like it was produced to be old, but I like this look on the Sony. And I try to ask her, well, can you describe this? I don't know. Something, it must be that XR Clear on the A95K. So when she watches old shows, she'll go into the other room and watch it in there. And then on the newer shows, she'll be in the other room where, I have the other TVs and stuff, because it all looks the same to her. So it's interesting that the Sony would be great for Columbo or Ozzy and Harriet in her case, right? But it's kind of like that je ne sais quoi. How do you describe what they do? Right. Are they increasing that contrast, right? That shadow detail. So I was exploring all these things that you guys have on the ambient optimization pro.
Yes, sir.
Right? And I was switching different toggling on and off to see. I chose specific shows that represented that weakness that you guys are trying to address, and I thought it was very, very cool, because it allows me to dive deep into those little things that people will not turn on, because if you don't know what it does, don't push the button.
Right. It's so funny, and this is the last thing, because I'll go on forever talking about that, because I have a tendency to do that. But I remember after you shared that story with me, this is what I took back and started sharing to people I spoke with. Sometimes there are features of a TV that create an absence of a problem. That means it's working. So basically what I'm saying is sometimes the fact that you don't see an issue means that it's working. Whereas it's easy to identify what's missing.
Right.
But it's hard to say that the fact that you don't see a problem means that this thing is working.
Yeah.
But this is what it is and why, right? Especially when you're talking about low resolution content, stuff like that. And with Google having over 800 free channels, sorry. With that being a thing though, for your wife, there's tons of content on there that fit that same exact criteria of image quality, or just people that are using ATSC 3.0, right? They're just using over-the-air signal that it kicks in and it makes everything look so smooth. So okay, cool, love it. Yep,
There's a lot. There's a lot of back and forth going on in the chat here. And
This is the first one. I don't know what
I know. Yeah. So. Yeah. No, it's been good. Somebody said they didn't recognize you because you don't have gloves on.
You know what? I could be an AI without the gloves.
This even real?
This is
may not even.
You guys have no
real.
idea. This has been green screen the whole time. He's really not even here.
Yeah, look, he's not even here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I love that. There was a question. Now, I think this could be something we can all sort of approach. Let me find this really quick. And before I do that, Orion, well, first thing, shout out to Joey V. Thank you for supporting as well. But Orion, if we did not answer a question, yes, please send us an email and we can do our best to follow up. And sometimes with certain questions, especially with certain things, it takes a little while to get an answer. But let us know and we'll do our best to answer it for you. But I appreciate that. The question came up. Where did it go here?
I see a funny question. Go ahead.
Yes. Dillingham.
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking at. Yes.
And I want to start with you and see what your thoughts are.
I'm ready.
How can I convince my spouse to bring our TV down off the fireplace? What are your thoughts?
So, the spouse is the queen when it comes to design, right? So, interior design, all that stuff. And so in her mind, if you bring the TV off of the fireplace, where can it go that it would look better, not worse?
That's the tough part.
So that's the tough part. Yeah. So what I have found is the solution for my friends. We get what's called the mantle mount. It stays in the fireplace, and when you watch it, the remote, because they have a pneumatic, they have whatever, it goes down in front of the fireplace, and when you're done watching, it goes back up again. And so they have different price points where you could manually pull it, or you have a remote that mechanically goes down. But either way, it solved my friend's problem because he has the exact same problem. Now it's not cheap, but it's built to last forever, and it will drive into anything, drywall, brick, it doesn't matter. Goes in there, goes up to 100-inch TV, however big you want, however small, and it stays up when she needs it up there, and when you want to watch, pull it down. Goes back up again. So that's one solution.
Interesting.
It's pretty awesome. I lost that argument, by the way.
I know you did.
I had a viewer that actually commented, just like, even Sony has a TV 12 feet above the fireplace. And I'm like, yo, it's my wife, dude. Like, so I lost that argument also.
My experience with it is we don't have a fireplace.
That's a solution. Remove the fireplace.
New house. No.
There you go. Here that actually need one.
Yeah. Where I'm from, I don't necessarily need one.
That's true. That is true.
That is very interesting. But that's good call.
Yeah. It is a tough one because obviously you need to know what your spouse prefers, and I would see if you can find out what the justification is to keep it there.
Yeah.
And if you can find, as you said, like just a better place or a better solution, it's one of those things like our boss says, like, come with a solution as an option rather than just let's change it, but I don't know how.
Yep.
Try to find a solution first, and good luck. That's all I can say.
Most of the problems are, how do I convince my wife to get an upgrade? You just bought a TV 3 years ago. I need a bigger one. See, that's the other tough one.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Hold on. Shout out Robert Conrad. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Robert
sorry,
Conrad.
I didn't want to miss that. Yeah.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us again. I appreciate it.
My wife is notorious for telling me not to upgrade a TV that we have because it's perfect. And then I put the new TV up, and then the first day she goes, I don't think it looks as good. And then a week later, it's like, okay, I get it. This one does look a little better. Every single time, it's 3 TVs in a row she's done that, right? So I know the cycle now at least, and so I just know what to expect. And I'm like, you're right.
And if you go bigger, they immediately like it.
Yeah.
Okay, oh, it doesn't fit. But then after a while, they go, okay, you can't go smaller.
Well, yeah, you can't go back.
No.
You can't go back.
That
So the
is
bigger
very
TV
true.
always
Yes.
works.
That is very true.
Jesus.
I love that.
It is. That's great.
Like, just Fraser made a comment here. When we met, my wife didn't understand why I spent more than $1,000 on any TV. Now she gets it. That is one of those common scenarios too, especially like for any techie person. It doesn't necessarily have to be a TV, but any sort of techie person that's like, man, I love this stuff. And you meet somebody who isn't or just doesn't get it, never been involved in it.
Yes.
It's the minute they get spoiled with that.
Yes.
For my wife, it was the XM5s, the WH-1000 XM5s.
Okay. Okay.
'Cause she doesn't really use headphones very often. But then when it was like, this is what good noise canceling is,
Oh yeah.
man.
She can't go back.
Yeah, now she's like in her art room and I'll walk in and she's just like lost in this world. Hey, hello.
Yeah.
Start
That's
waving
awesome.
my arms to get attention.
Well, it's like us in purses. You know, we spent 5,000, 1,500. Like, but it's just a bag. No, you said it to a woman, it's over. Strike in the head with a bag.
I don't get
Right,
involved in those
but I
kinds
get
of
it,
things.
right? The empathy is there. Okay.
Yes. This is a real problem. This is a real
It's
conversation.
a fourth purse. How many do you need? I don't have one that matches those shoes. Okay.
Never enough.
Right.
Can't justify that.
Because if they buy new shoes, you know a purse is coming.
Yes. Oh, 100. Look,
Oh, man.
But see,
I'm thinking about John. John knows.
always couple that with a TV purchase. Now you win. Now it costs you twice as much.
Right,
but
that's yeah. The bank may not. The bank will like it. Your wallet may not.
Yeah. It's a little easier to kind of get what you want, though. You
Yeah.
know. So yeah, I love that.
I like the get a doctor's note about the neck pain from. That's not a bad idea.
chiropractic bills. I don't know.
Yes, that's true.
Great.
But
That is awesome.
Dillingham, please let us know
How
how
that
it
goes,
goes. And
yeah.
honestly, maybe if you want to make a plan, let's say next show you join and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna have my spouse jump in and just kind of watch, and then you let us know how long we have, and we'll try to prepare to conveniently bring up the conversation about why it's
You know,
better to have it at eye
corporate's
level.
going to stop you because then the divorce lawyer is going to be in chat.
Yes.
Yeah, my client told me, and you're like, we've been told not to comment
Yes.
anymore on this situation.
Yes. Yes. Dillingham,
Accessory now.
I have a great idea for you real quick. This will take 10 seconds. You're going to love this. I have to do this every show. Email us at afterhoursupport.com. Derek will reply back.
Oh, God.
You can set up a Google Meet call with your wife and Derek, and what he can do is support you on that pitch directly one-to-one. He'll Google Meet.
Wow.
He'll meet that. Just email and he'll do it.
He'll FaceTime.
Yeah.
Let me see your home. Let's see what the interior design looks like. All right, I
You
got
know
you.
what? If it's gonna help, I'm open to.
Well, that's why you have the affiliate link. Sony offers. I see it right there. So if you can make the sale, guess who gets the bonus?
I love it.
That's true. Well,
That is awesome. Yeah, let's
always
do that.
making things complicated for me.
Pete has a great question. You know what? I want to ask FOMO what his take on this question is first.
Okay.
I'm ready.
So Pete is asking, did Sony discontinue the Master Series? Like, I know you've hung out in Tokyo, and I want to see what you say about this.
I define the Master Series as adding that extra little thing. And the last Master Series had just either an amazing design, amazing remote, whatever. And so if you don't have that extra thing, that one more thing that kind of elevates it, it's not a Master Series. So it's not just about image quality, in my opinion, right? Because every generation, image quality will improve. So Master Series from 2012 is not going to be close to a normal TV in 2020. So with that in mind, things like on the A95K, that lean back, I mean, it's beautiful, right? That's Master Series because of that. And then, or if you're missing a backlit remote, it can't be a Master Series, right? So, or a technology that is unique to that TV and nothing else. That's kind of like the Bravia 9 to me is a Master Series. It's got the backlit remote. It's got that special 23-bit sauce that to this day, even though you guys carried over, it is still the best mini LED TV out there. And that's like master, right? And it's got amazing stand, very, very flexible, do different things with it, got good audio, all that good stuff. So it's kind of like a state of mind because if you call a Master Series something and it's kind of crappy, I mean, look, backlit, the first generation of the backlit master drive that came back. Not impressive, right? And then you got rid of the backlit master drive, but then the Bravia 9 looks great, but it's nowhere to be found. This should have been the backlit master drive, right? And so, sometimes the name is just a name, but is it what the spirit is? Like, I expect the RGB LED to be a master series, even though it may not be called that, because you guys are branding it, right? It may be expired, maybe had its time. Maybe the word master might have connotations that Sony corporate wants to get away from. I get it, because you look in the technology space, drives, you see master slave drive. Well, obviously that has been quickly eliminated, and it could be that this is a approach. Let's think of a better word, and we just haven't thought of it yet, other than flagship.
What he nailed, from my perspective, he nailed it. It's oftentimes, if it's a feature, it's only present in a specific TV. Like if you go back to the introduction of X1 Ultimate, see, it was only in one television because we had X1, X1 Extreme, X1 Ultimate, and the TV that had X1 Ultimate, Master Series, right? Like that was it, right? And it's always kind of been that way. But then when we started expanding XR processor across multiple TV models, right? To your point, we started expanding when we're talking backlit remote. We weren't isolating some of this cutting edge tech, with the exception of the backlight system on Bravia 9. We were trying to sprinkle it in different levels and layers throughout the lineup, because our core belief was you shouldn't have to buy the absolute most expensive TV to get the best of what Sony has to offer, right? That's kind of, I think, an internal philosophy. So, but you nailed it with that. It has to be unique and only this. It's not just about PQ and performance.
Something special.
I like that. That is, I like
and that's why people complained about our complaint about the Bravia 8 Mark II. But I was telling them, but this is not necessarily the flagship per se. The image quality is flagship level,
right?
But they also want to make it affordable, because that's why it's in the Bravia 8. You want it to be less affordable. I know people complain about the price, but you're going to be even less affordable than this, because they kind of have the Bravia 9 thing going,
right?
And however Sony decides where the Bravia 8 is placed, it is called an 8 for a reason. So they're going to take away a few things. It cannot be. So image quality, I know it's a successor to A95L, but the little things that make the A95L its master series or a flagship, the Bravia 8 does not have. So I always tell people it's the better image quality than A95L because it's a successor, but it's not that flagship experience you expect, and that's fine too.
The Bravia Cam. So we talked about, like, I love Bravia Cam. I may be in a very small group of people that love the Bravia Cam because I love what it does with ambient optimization pro.
I have not used. Did it come with the A95K?
Yeah, A95K it did. Yes.
So I have the Bravia Cam in the box.
Listen.
It literally is still in the box. I have to pull it out now.
Maybe we could take a look at that tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you have to tell me what else can it do, because I don't know what I don't know.
Do not get me started.
Oh, so I'm going to be addicted now, right?
Maybe.
Dance Revolution.
It actually has some cool things that it does. We'll save that for tomorrow.
Okay.
We'll tell you a little bit.
Well, I mean, and that's why I'm here, is to discover what I don't know.
Right. Yep.
Right?
Yeah, that is definitely the purpose, and I do appreciate you kind of just popping in here to kind of hang out with us a little bit too. So, but tomorrow will be some good information from some smarter people than us with JT.
So maybe you'll discover something.
I might. That is possible. That is possible. So just throw this out there too. So we'll start to wrap up soon. We got a couple more questions we can take a look at. But if you have any, please let us know in the comments. And then, of course, if there's anything that's a little bit deeper diving, feel free to send us an email as well. But that said,
I'm looking.
Are you looking for something in particular?
Raceface 85.
Yep.
Well, it's funny. This is a really
It's become a popular question.
This is a very
today.
popular topic. Raceface 85 says, will there ever be a new Android version for my Bravia X92J, or will it forever be on Android 10? This, we need to really dig into what our roadmap is, some reasons to why not, what the plan is. Let's see if we can get something more than just what our stance is, because I totally understand our stance, and that's good enough for us. But
right.
Let's see if we can. We'll get more on that.
Yeah, I think this is definitely something. I know we've talked about it a little bit more, but now it having come up
Yeah.
3 times that I
Already.
know of already just recently. I think this is a good way for us to kind of add. And that kind of goes to kind of calling out to you guys. If you have questions or concerns, especially if there are, things you're seeing as like, I think this is an issue, especially more of you techie people, or you're like, okay, you're calling out things like EOTF, that is not just the average consumer type of term. If you have specific examples of where you've seen this, content sources, whatever, please send us an email of those specifics to say, this particular show on this particular app, this is what I see. That'd be great. I want to send a thank you to those of you who have sent us some of that information. We definitely have shared that up with the teams to kind of see if they can replicate. So I appreciate that too. Now, I do just one real quick too. Two is that I do want to call out, we are Sony North America. So there are some differences with different regions. And sometimes we don't have the same firmware or the same access to different applications or content to be able to try to replicate those things. So please let us know. We'll let you know if we can or cannot. But worst case, if it's something in Sony Europe or something, we can still pass along that information.
There was a question. I don't know if you guys answered it.
Go ahead.
I saw it in there, and I was wondering about this because I think a lot of TV brands have the same issue. The Ethernet connection is slower than the Wi-Fi, so it's obviously not gigabit. Do you guys answer that question? Why that is? Is there a plan for it to be improved, or it's pointless to improve? I mean, people just want closure, right? They're like,
Sure.
Because if the answer is, why do you need anything faster than what it is? And so that's what it is. Because you're not the only company that is keeping their Ethernet literally 2019 or 2018, whatever that was back then. It's exactly the same for everyone. Or it could be the limitation of whoever is your SoC partner. It is what it is. So unless they upgrade it, we're not upgrading. So there are many reasons, but I was wondering if you guys have the answer.
I gotta say, I don't know. I have my personal theories. I always get in trouble when I start sentences off with that.
Right, personal theories.
I have my personal theories, and it's sort of this pick one or the other. Because the flip side of that coin is Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi 6, Wi-Fi 6. Like those speed increases. So as you can see, like the industry, as you look at all of them, there's been sort of this agreement or this direction focus to expand the speeds capable from the Wi-Fi side with respect to, I think going above Wi-Fi 6E or whatever it is right now is a little excessive. I mean, it's like this many things that can support Wi-Fi 7, right? But I think that there's been a commitment in the industry to focus on the Wi-Fi performance versus, direct. But again, that's just my theory. But then from a cost perspective, I would imagine upgrading both of those is kind of like continuing to have RCA and composite cables connections and all that, and VGA connections on TVs, which drove. We were like one of the last ones to leave that alone, which kept price of production up high. So it's my theory, completely off record. I don't want to get in trouble, but that's just my take.
It makes sense to me completely. Okay. Yeah.
I love it. Awesome. Shout out to X Darklow as well, kind of calling out regarding Bravia Cam. Those are the things. Hand gestures precisely target the sound according to where the person is. So there is, was it 6
I gotta do it.
different things that?
Listen, just 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Because he's right. 11. Bravia Cam Ambient Optimization Pro 2 identifies where you are. It's got a great UI. You see a green dot. As you move around the room, it adjusts the sound left and right. It adjusts also brightness level as you approach the TV. But it can recognize multiple people, and it starts to balance the performance of the TV based upon the specific positioning of everybody in the viewing area.
So why doesn't anyone talk about this? We're back to that, right?
Yes. Like he is.
No.
That is the thing. All right, I'm done. Like, I'm so hyped about that.
See?
Yes.
And that's the kind of
we
stuff.
actually did that on one of our shows.
On one of our shows, we showed it.
Yeah,
we walked around and showed it.
It's pretty cool.
It was so cool because it happens in real time.
So if you have the Bravia Cam, your TV, and the quad, right? That's the latest and greatest. Does the Bravia Cam work with the entire quad? See, now you got this entire.
So my understanding is it does not, because it will affect the onboard TV audio.
Yeah.
But as far as an external device, I don't believe it does. However, with the quad, you have your listening position through the app.
This is just
so it sort of does that.
We should ask. You should have them demo that for you while you're here, because I think I tested it before I got the quad. I can't remember if I tested it with the quad or without.
And you don't know what you don't know. Maybe it does.
Maybe, yeah. I like it. Stay tuned. Okay.
Interesting.
I like it. Okay.
Joshua, welcome. Says, hello, everyone. Hello. I have the XBR55X930E. I noticed when tweaked the sound EQ and voice zoom, my picture was a little clearer. Does this have an effect on pixel, or may it be my software? That's interesting because I can't see how the two would be related.
Psychosomatic.
Could be.
When you hear things clearer, maybe you see things clearer.
That is very possible. Yeah, there should not, to my knowledge, be any sort of direct relation, because it's not like the OLEDs where you actually have like acoustic surface, even though that has no effect on the actual visual experience, even at max volume. That's very interesting.
But it's supported by science, because if you're struggling to hear, you take resources away from your eyesight. Right. So now that you hear more clearly, the resources are back in your eyesight.
It's the same thing. Like my wife calls me out on this because you know how I hate driving.
I do it too. I do the same thing.
You know what this is. Yeah, and I saw a great little meme on this. Okay. Let me turn the radio down so I can see better.
I turn the radio down so I can parallel park it back up.
Yes.
There you go.
That's so weird.
That's exactly
man.
Let me know if you agree with that, because that is definitely me. I do that all the time.
Wait, so that means if Sony, I can't see it. Just drop the volume.
Yeah, lower the volume.
Looks better.
Yeah.
It's a new thing.
Something about the audio chain is making that a clearer picture.
Man, I love it.
That is interesting. Raceface, you are welcome. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you, and let us know if you have any other questions.
Absolutely.
Luca, yes, you are off topic. However, I will tell you what I know. Let's see. Maybe off topic, but I get a longer ping and slower speed on my PS5 Pro since upgrading to Wi-Fi 7. Yeah, I'm kind of with that too. I actually don't really know. I'll have to try to see. I haven't talked to my PlayStation guy in a minute. I got to reach out to him, and maybe I can see if I can find some information. So
cool.
Can you note that, please?
Derek has a
Definitely
PlayStation
don't
guy.
want to forget about Luca.
Do you hear that, John?
Yeah.
Derek is a PlayStation guy.
Lower ping.
That's our guy.
I'm banned from the floor, and Derek has a guy. Huh? Oh, you didn't know about that? You didn't hear about this story?
He's not in this office though.
Oh, okay. I'm not allowed on that floor. We'll talk about that offline.
No, which makes me sad because I want to meet him face to face. That'd be great. Cool. Let's see. Mozart's Ghost is so true. I'm better in video games with no sound. My brain can process the visuals better.
I turn my sound off as well. But I never thought about the reason why. I'm just like, I don't need the sound. I don't need to hear where everything's coming. I just want to focus on emotion.
But think about it. Think about it, right? Like if you have so let me tread lightly. So imagine like we hear those unfortunate situations where people aren't born with like disability or something, but they lose when they lose sight or lose hearing, everything else is heightened. Everything else ramps up. So it's like you're right, like it just makes sense. It just is that.
I don't know. I'm with Luca though. Like I gotta have good sound with it. Hence my theater usage.
Well, so actually that goes to a different point, which is people. Okay, you watch a movie, right? And they're so focused on the sound quality of their audio system. I mean, they buy super expensive this and that, and they start going to the DSP, right? They dive deep. I'm like, if you're watching an intense movie and you're so attuned into the story visually, all that sound, just enough sound to make you immerse, but any additional sound quality is lost unless you turn off the video. But you cannot have it both ways. So I tell people, which do you prefer more? Great audio, but so-so video? Amazing video, or just acceptable immersion? If you're focused on amazing video, then get the quad. Don't spend any more, and tell me if that's not enough. Because other than subwoofer, because everybody needs more bass, because you can feel that. But other than that, I think if you do it that way, you're not going to lose out on the sound, because you're not going to pay attention to the sound. Because what about the distortion? Trust me, you're not going to hear the distortion. You cannot hear that distortion at that volume because you're so focused on the video immersion and all that.
Yeah, that's very true.
I love that the quad has lived up to all of FOMO's expectations.
Oh, it has.
Because the first time he saw it in LA, I remember he was looking, he goes, I am really interested. I think FOMO is the first person that says, so Theater Bar 9 and quad, which one is the flagship of the two? It was a great question, right?
And they wouldn't answer.
It's like they're both flagship models, they're top tier, they're designed for two different whatever. And FOMO goes, think the quad is what I like, and it's nice that here we are a year and a half later, and it's still living up to, or all the expectations.
Again, the Phantom Center, amazing. That DSP you guys did with that normally, but that was, you've perfected the Phantom channel without having a center. I prefer it to the TV being the center channel. I think the quad just did a better job. So I do it without the TV, even though I have the Bravia 9 to do it. No.
Can I just tell you a crazy story real quick? I'm not even sure if you know this. When we were in LA and we did the demo on the quad, if you remember, there were several of our the Sony team from Tokyo there. The engineers, really, really quiet, nice lady who's just helping us control the lights on and off. She's the designer of the speakers in the quad. And she
so
just
unassuming.
after it was so after we were talking about it, we were talking about the 16 speakers and the cabinet design, and she walked over to me and she said, 3 of the 4 speakers were specifically designed to fit into this cabinet to give you this space. I'm like, that's amazing that we did that. She said, yes, I worked several years on developing it. I was like,
I love it.
Dude, it was such a great moment, right? But that is
so
a fun
humble.
story. Yeah, it was so amazing.
Yeah, you don't know who's there, that's for sure.
Oh, that team is so amazing. So, okay.
Yep.
All right. So amazing. Anyway,
love that.
all right.
I love that.
let's see.
Stravinsky made a comment. He said, FOMO, when you can feel the punches at the beginning of John Wick 4, you'd change your mind. That audio performance. So.
And that's why I said for the subwoofer,
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. Because that is part of that. But I'm
Yeah.
talking about, just the distortion discussion, let's say above 250 hertz, above 400 hertz, right? Oh, the distortion is this and that. So I absolutely agree that everything below 250 to, let's say, 60, that thump, I mean, it gets you right there, 100% agree. That's why for me, and I told Sony this, you guys need multiple subwoofer options so we can stack the SW5
Look
and get
right
that.
in the camera. We're going to clip this so we can just send this to Tokyo. Let them know what you want. What is it?
Multiple subwoofers added to the quad.
I like it.
And I know you guys can do it, and then people will know what to do. Stack 6, and you get a giant subwoofer. Just stack it.
Oh my gosh.
And then now your problems are solved.
I love it.
Yep.
I love it. That's good stuff, man. That's really good stuff.
Interesting. Cool. Yeah, we'll wrap up here in a second.
Yeah.
Raceface, your question being about an app that is not part of Sony makes things a little tricky. I don't know if I have any answer for that, but if you could send us an email, it might be something I could try to look into a little bit more. It might be a little trickier to find an answer or solution to it, but
I wonder if we could at least find out if it's an app issue or if
that's really where we'd have to kind of start.
Yep.
To kind of see if it's something that is
that would be worth looking into.
right.
Shoot us an email.
Yeah, please
give
send
us a
us an
chance to help you
email.
out.
Yeah, we'll try. So I don't have an answer at the moment, unfortunately.
Yeah, no worries.
Cool. Okay.
You in a
well,
good place?
yeah. So I have one last question for you.
Uh-oh.
I'm ready.
Why stop the FOMO?
Oh, that's a funny story. So I was a consumer, like everyone here in chat, and I was shopping TVs, and I hadn't bought a TV in forever. So we're putting up our home theater and everything. And so I would go on this show, very much like this, like a podcast, and they take questions and everything, right? So I asked, what TV should I get? And so they recommended started with, here's my budget, and here's the TV, and they recommended a Sony. I didn't even discover OLEDs at the time. I go, well, what about the OLED? Okay, well, if you're willing to spend that much, OLED's a little bit better. And then I kept on asking, and finally they go, look, what is your budget? I go, okay, fine, I have no budget. Give me the best TV that's available. I said, okay. And that was the year they said, you need to get the A9G. That's like the best OLED at the time. Blah, blah. I go, oh, that's great. And then a week later, I just heard that this is brighter. And the guy just yelled at me, stop the FOMO. And I'm like, what the hell does that even mean? What? So I had to go online and look up stop the FOMO, look up what FOMO meant. I go, that's a great channel, because I think everyone is like me. It's like once you get to that rabbit hole, you start with a $500 budget, then it becomes $800. And then, you know what? It's a one-time purchase. I'll spend whatever. I'm sure the wife will be okay. Just don't do it again.
Yeah.
And I ultimately, because I had FOMO, I ended up buying 4 different TVs to compare.
Jeez.
And that's when I started a YouTube channel. I had the Vizio P Quantum X, I had the Q90R, I had the Sony A9G. I mean, I had every TV at the time that was ranked by all the different reviews, because they wouldn't tell me which one was good.
Wow.
They were all good. They were all like at the time maybe $3,000, whatever. I go, okay, maybe I can share my journey with a YouTube channel. And so if you look at my earlier videos, that's exactly the TVs I had. Was the Q90R, P Quantum X, the A9, and I kept the A9G. Ultimately, that was the TV that was my reference TV. The other 2 TVs I brought to different rooms and stuff, but that was my TV that I had for 2 years as my reference TV to compare all the other TVs to. Yeah.
That is too awesome.
That's a good
That's the only
story.
way to stop the phone. So my recommendation: you want to stop the phone, buy all the TVs. And then after 3 months, you're like, you know what? I know what I like now. But you can't, you're outside the return period, but
you know what you know.
what you like. And
There's
then
value
moving
in knowing.
forward,
In that case, link in the description below for all the TVs.
Yes. You can buy as many Sony TVs as you want and compare, and we'd love to get the feedback on that too.
I love it.
No, I love that because like even from the beginning of when I initially found your channel many years ago, that's kind of was my I almost knew instantly what the purpose of your channel was. Right? Because I worked in retail and I know exactly what that was. It was people that have that concern of, but what if, and sitting on that fence, and it's like, no, this is the perfect solution for you. But like, yeah, but what if next year and there's, and it's like, I'm like, well, with technology, if you're worried about next year, you will never buy anything. Yeah. So there is a point where you have to stop.
well, and I tell them, look, if you know you're going to upgrade in 6 years, it's going to be definitely amazing.
Whole
6
new
years
world.
from now. So just get it. It's going to be great for 5 years. Not perfect, but in 6 years.
Yeah.
And then they go, oh, okay, that's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they think they know they're going to upgrade, they're not going to miss the FOMO. Because
true.
in 6 years, it'll be
Yes.
definitely better than whatever is available.
Yeah.
Right.
Even if they choose the wrong TV,
Facts.
it'll
Yeah.
be better in 6 years.
You are right.
Absolutely.
I like that. That's good stuff.
That's cool. I always like to kind of know where that stuff comes from. And I
I know.
story.
And it makes perfect sense.
I got yelled at. Stop the FOMO. Like, you know what? I'm not the only one.
No.
But people blame me for creating FOMO. That's the other problem. It's like it's an ironic channel because Sony RGB LED. That's all they want to talk about. I'm like, it's not even out yet. Yeah, but you know what? Why spend $5,000 now on whatever, right? When I could just wait and see the RGB. Okay, that is true. If you enjoy your TV, don't replace it. Let's see what RGB LED. And then Vincent isn't helping. 75-inch. It's on the wild. 75 inches. Oh, you know what? No. That's really like people are like really upset now. Because I thought it'd be a lot larger, but I could be wrong. But and that's why it's fun to do what we do. Is on the one hand, we stoke excitement,
Right.
But if you really need a TV, then you got to get a TV.
Yeah, period.
Yeah.
I love it, dude. I love it. That is so awesome.
All right, so we'll wrap up here in a second. Pete has the last question. Any updates on ATSC 3.0? So unfortunately, we don't control that capability. That is next gen TV. There is a website. I think it's like look up next gen TV, and you can actually look up kind of where that's at, where it's rolling out, kind of
updates on that.
where that is, because it's different based on where you are. That would be the best place to start.
And as it stands right now, we still support ATSC 3.0.
Yes. Yep.
So-
Yeah, it's just a matter of having it near you. So that's kind of the challenge.
You're in Southern California, it sucks.
Yeah.
I did that recent test.
Really?
Nothing.
Is it not fully rolled out yet? Or
No, it's rolled out, but it's might as well be ATSC 1.0 as far as the broadcasters are
From the content. So
So I mean, the
I know that
container
that's still a
is 3.0.
transition too.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they're saying they're not even investing them because, like, wait, we don't get any more viewers. Advertising dollars are drying up. So if they invest in making, let's say, 4K content, are the advertisers going to come back in? Right? Because they're being replaced by streaming anyway, and you could stream 4K. So they might upgrade the equipment to send it straight into streaming. So either way, the ATSC broadcast part is a problem. The broadcasting.
So we'll have to kind of wait and see,
be interesting to
see what
see,
happens on that.
Because the sponsors are moving their money to the streaming, the fast, right, free ad-supported TV, blah, blah, blah,
Right.
or the Google TV 88 channels. If everyone's going there, and you might as well move your 4K development to the streaming side, because you have all this broadcast equipment that's very expensive. You might invest in, digital streaming 4K.
Yeah.
which is already
That's very
available.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I love
Ooh,
it.
stay tuned to that storyline.
Yeah.
for
We'll
sure.
see.
Mozart's Ghost adds FOMO, just not you specifically. The fear of missing out is huge in the audio space, which definitely see that too. The expectation is the more you spend, the more you get, but it's not that simple.
I have been there, done that.
That is
and
a classic
dude,
line.
That's well
that's
said.
why I'm down to the quad. I have like a $100,000 system, and I prefer the quad.
Wow.
I got the trim off. I got all active. I mean, this is studio mastering setup. And at the end, I'm like, it sounds a little bit better.
Wow.
But the quad is so much easier.
John.
I got these giant JTRs, 21-inch subs.
Okay. Clip that, John.
21-inch.
Clip that. Clip that.
Yeah, there you go.
And it is amazing, but is it $80,000 better? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the thing is, unless I turn off the TV and close my eyes and listen to true immersive audio, which now it elevates. But when you're watching, you're into the movie, it hit me. Wait, other than the sub, y'all with a large sub, that's why I said all the quad needs is a large sub.
It's good feedback.
And now you're done. Because the rest of it is the immersive stuff. And yeah, I get a little bit of stuff, but that's all up mixing. It's not even in the native. So that's another thing. The native mix doesn't have all the stuff that the Trinov is doing.
Right.
And so ultimately, it's it's DSP tricks that you're paying for it. So yeah,
so crazy.
It's very complicated.
Can't make it easy.
Can confirm quad plus SW5. Can confirm.
There you go.
It is an animal.
Flex.
Sure. And I have it in a tiny room, so I have it in a
That
10 by,
makes it
10 by
even
11.
more
So it
intense.
is like
Now you got
insane.
wall reinforcement
Yes.
of the sub.
Oh, it is insane.
Well, I've told people.
Actually, display in that tiny room is an even bigger flex.
Okay, stop it, John.
Well, you don't even need the SW5 personally. Start with that, and don't even have the SW5. And if you need it, and those who are subwoofer fans, they know.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not even for them.
They know.
but everyone else who is going from a TV, I tell them, don't spend the extra money on SW5 unless you go, you know what? I'm missing something.
little bit
Because
more,
I
yes.
don't even turn on my subs.
Yep. That's what I love about it being modular, right?
Yes.
So you can
The
start
option.
with the quad. If you don't need a 5, you can get the 3, the SW3 sub. You can play around with it. It allows you to customize it for your taste and your space. That's a t-shirt.
And if you do get the SW5 and you want a little bit extra oomph, obviously, we don't have multiple yet, it has to be near field. You're going to put the sub literally within 6 inches of your seat, under your seat, then you get the If you put it in the corner, it doesn't work. It's just a little rumble. It's too far. It won't. Having it under your seat doesn't matter how big your room is because it's near field. You get the sub as it was designed to be its best. So to me, it's like a near field sub.
Beautiful call
Okay.
out. Beautiful
Good
call out.
feedback.
Yep.
We will take that.
Like it.
We will study that.
We will study.
All right. So to wrap up, Stravinsky says thanks for the feedback option you guys do here. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. Right on line with Mozart's Ghost. Let's start collecting some more classical type of names and stuff. That'd be great. And thanks to Bromo for what you guys do. So that's awesome. It'd be great to hopefully in the future. I know we talked about maybe kind of joining you guys at some point too on live. So we'll try to do that. Keep you guys in loop of the cool stuff that we got going on. And
100%.
yeah, it'd be great.
Yep. 100%.
Ronan says thanks for the special guest. That's you. Said and delivered. Let's see. X Darkloom. So if we get the Bravi 8 Mark II, Theater Quad, and the sub, we get that absolute cinema at our home. You're like dancing to this thing.
And I'm like, yes.
You go ahead and take that. Yes?
Hey.
Yes.
Can I? Where am I at? Yes.
No, I'm going to say get the 77-inch A95L because you need immersion.
Okay.
I think that's going to make the bigger difference for that. Now, if you're sitting 6 feet away, 65 inches is fine, but I think 77 is like.
I like it.
Yeah.
That is a strong point. I like it.
There you go.
Yes, I'm still trying to
You
get
got
a
the official
77
flex from
A95L.
Joey B on thanks for being here. That's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
big
When Joey B
Right.
flexes, that's
Yes.
that means
That's a
something.
big thing.
Yep.
So cool. Awesome. So thank you all for being here. We do appreciate it. Let us know in the comments after the live if you're watching this at this point. If you have any questions, we'll do our best to answer. And also send us an email if you want to know more. You can join us next time. And then also, if you want to know more about some cool Sony stuff, there will be a live tomorrow with JT. Those of you who who have been with us before, knows way more than at least me in
definitely
terms
me
of this
too.
space to talk to FOMO tomorrow on Stop the FOMO
on
channel.
my live stream on my channel.
That's
Yes.
right. So
You'll
check it
see.
out there. If you got some more deeper questions or more specific questions for FOMO, you can check him out there. And that's it. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Be well. Be good to each other. Take care.
Peace.
See you next time. Thanks for being here.
See you
FOMO.
guys.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks
brother.
guys.
Thank you.
See ya.
See you guys.